All right, baby. Welcome back to Orange Peelers.
Finals week 2 and week 1.
We're done. We're in the finals, Zane. We're deep. Deep
Is this
within.
part deep? Because normally the prelims consider the deep.
It's deeper than we were last week.
Yeah.
It's not that we're going to get deeper though.
Yeah.
Over the next couple of weeks, the next 2 weeks?
Yes.
We're going to get real deep. But Zane, how was your weekend? How's your week been?
Pretty good games of footy. It's sad not seeing the Rabbitohs anymore, but the Prime Minister's team has been named today.
Yeah, it has been.
Have you seen that or not? I'm sure you have.
Yeah, I have. I've made up a little lineup and everything. But before we get into that, Zane.
Which the Prime Minister's team's just embarrassing. It's just the teams who failed to make it through the finals.
Yeah, lots of South players in there.
Yeah, there is.
You got a haircut, Zane?
I did. So did you, but it looks
I
like
also got a haircut. Are we going to get sponsored by a hairdresser?
Possibly.
Obviously, very popular to get a haircut this week in
Who's a
Wollongong.
good hairdresser in the NRL?
I don't know.
I know Keon Kalamatangi likes cutting hair.
Yeah.
So you know, could get him in touch.
There was somebody did a tri-celebration as a barber, but I forget who that was.
It was a night. Yeah, it was on Bradman Best, wasn't it?
Yeah, Bradman Best. Yeah,
Maybe
haircut week
guest,
apparently.
Special guest soon, maybe.
Bradman Best, get him your new cut our hair live.
Yeah.
Not for another couple of weeks though, because we've both just got haircuts.
You know, he's going to, when the Knights get knocked out this week, he'll head off to Bali for a few weeks and
get his tattoos finished.
Yeah, probably.
The Prime Minister's 13 team, Zane. Obviously, you've written your eyes over it as well.
Have you got the whole lineup? I've just seen the squad.
Yeah, I've got the squad up here, so I'll read over the squad. I don't have the lineup in front of me, but I pretty much remember it. So it's Josh Adokar, Daly Cherry Evans, Ruben Cotter, Tom Dearden, Tino, Emre Gula, Ben Hunt, Nico Hines, AKP, like Cam Pereira, Zach Lomax, Cameron McInnes, Cam Murray, Reece Robson, Tyrell Sloan, the
Smoky
Hammer,
pick there,
Murray Talungi, Jake Turbo, Cody Walker, and Huddy Young.
Great selection.
What are your thoughts?
I mean, there's a few surprises in there, which like Cam Pereira I wouldn't have expected. What's the other one? We just said him. We just Sloan. Yes, didn't expect him either. Fair enough.
Matt Burton robbed.
Oh, is he though?
He was in it last year.
Like, should Adokar
He
be
played
there?
for Australia last year.
He did, but this isn't Mal Meninga picking this team.
He does pick it. He has a say.
Well, he has a say, but isn't it the Prime Minister's team?
It's a weird one because
Albo didn't pick the entire
they don't try and pick like the best team. They try and pick a mix of like a good team and they're also like blooding people in.
Yeah.
And they also, I'm pretty sure they try and avoid people that are in the Australia squad. But then they've also picked some people from the Australia squad.
That's the thing. That's why
so
Cam
weird.
Murray's captain and Daly Cherry Evans is vice captain.
They're co-captains.
Well,
It says here. That's what it said.
I think that's more.
Oh, no. It says Cam Murray captain, Daly Cherry Evans vice captain. My bad. Yeah.
So I think they're looking towards the future there because you know, it looks like Murray will be the next Australian captain.
And when you look at some of the people in the squad, it does make sense that they're looking to the future. You got like, even like obviously Talungi and Hammer, they've played Origin, but they're still like relatively young. Robson.
Talungi was in Australia last year.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, but then you got people like Sloan, Lomax, who he isn't that young, but he was in this game last year as well.
Yeah, well,
Cam Pereira,
we're missing Trell and Campbell Graham, who had
Nico
to pull
Hines
out due to injury.
Barely played Origin yet, hasn't played for Australia. Emre Gula.
Yeah, weird one there, isn't it?
Like Tommy Dearden's in there. So yeah, it's a weird squad because then you've got those young blokes, but then you've also got Daly Cherry Evans.
If Troll was there, you know how it would go. Just be Australia 50 plus, 50 in the house. But he had to pull out due to injury, and he might be getting his finger amputated.
Yeah,
interesting as that.
I don't, because it's his pinky. I read the pinky is like you sort of need it for grip strength and stuff. Where like Angus Crichton had like a not important finger,
the brink
cut off. Yeah, it's a weird team. But as I said, the selection, I guess, criteria of it isn't what you'd normally expect. It's sort of a mix of, I guess, experience and trialing for the Kangaroos and then like building towards the future of the Kangaroos. So it's sort of hard to judge the squad.
Yeah.
Because you don't really know like what they're trying to achieve. And at the end of the day, they'll put 50
just
on top and you get,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I saw somebody described it as just a charity match.
Pretty much. Pretty much is a really valid.
It said in the description of like the game, it was saying it's just to like raise awareness for a different thing each year. They, instead of like a major sponsor, they have like a message on the jersey. Hang on, let me see what it was last year. Give me 1 second. But yeah, Matt Burton, I'm very filthy because he was in it last year and then he got snubbed for Australia.
Who'd you have taken out for him?
Lomax? Sloan?
One of the halves, maybe.
Maybe one of the halves. Yeah, so like a couple of years ago, they had Stop Violence on the front. And I'm just trying to find last year. But even like Jake Amarillo was in it last year.
There's
Fox.
Just Fox, is that it?
And even
Bunnies
Jake...
have Murray and
Walker.
Walker.
Yeah.
Walker's a...
Jake Averillo was in it last year, and he's in the Australia train-on squad, but he's not in. Like it's weird, isn't it? Yeah. So last year, the front said shared history, shared heroes. So like every year it says a different thing on the front. But yeah, interesting times. But Zane, let's get into what we want to talk about. Finals footy.
Yes, neither of our teams are there, so whatever.
Jump into, well, I guess we'll do player of the week and most disappointing player of week 1 of finals. Obviously,
my player of the week.
Hang on,
sorry.
This is obviously brought to you by the Vintage Thread. As you can see, I'm rocking my lovely Matt Burton shirt. You're rocking your lovely green. Yeah. Plain green tee.
I got it yesterday, so
it's from the Vintage Thread Trust.
Yeah,
we don't wear any other shirts.
No picture on it.
Yeah, they forgot to print it.
Yeah,
but they won't forget to print yours.
Like a big photo of Cameron Murray here. But
yeah,
they forgot to get it.
But yeah, if you want to get some really high quality t-shirts like the one Zane's wearing, or like the one I'm wearing, go to the Vintage Thread _ on Instagram. Go to the website, cop a t-shirt, use code HOTDOG10 to get 10% off your order. But your player of the week is Zane.
Adam Reynolds.
Ooh, okay.
I thought he played one of the best games of his career on Friday night. That was outstanding.
Nah, he was very good. He was very, very good. There was a play, and obviously we're going to get into the games, but there was a play where Cameron Munster put a lovely kick in goals and forced a repeat, and it was like the best kick of the game. And then Adam Reynolds came and just kicked that real low, long kick over the sideline off the dropout and got the ball back.
Clever kicks sometimes,
Reynolds. And he just one-upped him and was like, "You want the best kick in the game, bro? I'll show you the best kick in the game." So yeah, shout out to Adam Reynolds. I thought Adam Reynolds was the second best player this week.
Who was your player?
I've gone Nathan Cleary.
Works for me.
Yeah, it's like
really
I was tossing up between Reynolds and Cleary. I thought you'd go Cleary.
I had Reynolds from that first game, and I'm like, no matter what happens the rest of this finals, I don't think anyone's going to top that.
Cleary played the perfect game.
Oh yeah,
he was perfect.
But I still think, yeah.
But I've got nothing against Reynolds. As soon as I watched that
Broncos game, I'm like, no one's going to top Reynolds this weekend. I don't care what the scorelines are.
Yeah, no, that's
most disappointing.
There's
a few Storm players I could go with. There's one Warriors player I'm thinking of, but I'm going with Jack Whiten.
Jack Byton.
Jack Byton, we'll call him. Yeah.
Why have you gone with Jack Byton?
Just a few discipline issues he had. And, obviously, it wasn't a penalty. Penalty was obviously the offside, but he put that high shot on Ponga. He bit Tyson Gamble. He just did a few strange things. It looked to me like he's just a bit like, whatever, I'm leaving here. Let's do whatever I want. That's seriously the way it looked.
Who defended him at court? Was it Raiders or was it South?
It was Raiders.
That's silly, hey. That's weird because they don't care.
Yeah, they don't.
He's not missing any of their games.
It's not their problem.
It's in their interest.
He's only not going to Vegas now. That's the thing, and he might unretire from rep footy just so he can get some games.
The thing with that, the unretiring from rep footy is, if I'm Mal Meninga, I'm not picking him because because he can't play.
Does he just expect him to get?
It's selected? A waste of a squad spot.
Or is he going to say, "Oh, I would have been selected"? Like, would he have that?
Well, he retired.
Has he been like a player though this year that should be in the Australian squad?
Nah.
I
probably wouldn't pick him. Oh, nah, probably not, eh? Yeah. I think New South Wales
he's been playing
but not Australia.
Last part of the year.
Well, he's been all over the shop the last part of the year, and he hasn't been playing very good footy, to be honest. So that's, fair enough putting him most disappointing. Even just at centre, like he wasn't moving around or anything.
Dallin. What team's the Lesbian?
My
third was Munster.
I've got none of those, but you're getting closer to who mine was. I went Harry Grant. I was tossing up between Grant and Munster. Fourth. Yeah, so
he had a shocker, didn't he?
So I was trying to think who was disappointing.
Dallin,
and I was thinking
had a crap game.
I didn't think. That's
defensively
fair.
He was terrible.
I just thought the Storm overall were really disappointing. I thought Munster and Grant because this isn't.
Which, as a Roosters fan, I'd be worried about that this week. They had an awful game.
They'll bounce back.
No, they always.
But I was thinking it's not necessarily worst play, but it's disappointing. And I have really high standards for. Well, they set themselves high standards, Munster and Grant, and so I went and looked at their stats. Harry Grant, 2 errors. He only ran for 44 metres and he missed 10 tackles, which is just so unlike Harry Grant. So that's why I went with him for most disappointing.
I wonder what went on with Melbourne on Friday night.
They were just so off.
Yeah.
Very off.
And they've had these games. They'll come out and have an absolute blinder of a game and then they'll, play some just average, not necessarily average, but winnable games that they win. And they come out and have a shocker like this. It's happened all season long.
Yeah.
And whenever they have big losses, Melbourne, they come out the next week and they kill their opponent.
Yeah,
so I'd be really worried if I was a Roosters fan this week.
Yeah, especially down in Melbourne.
I feel like
elimination final footy.
I feel like it's going to be an absolute blast for the Storm.
Yeah, I agree. While we're talking about the Storm, we may as well get straight into Broncos Storm.
It's a dead rubber game, that one. So.
Jump into Broncos. Well, actually, in my bracket prediction, I said Storm would win this week and then beat Panthers. So That's what I said last week. I'll tell you what, if I could change...
You changed your mind on that now.
I would, but I'm not going to because I'm a man of my word, so I'll stick with it. But based on the weekend's footy with Storm playing pretty average and Panthers playing very, very good, it's hard to see Storm beating Panthers. But yeah, Storm Broncos, before we get into, I guess, deeper into this game, we've already sort of touched on it. We're going to have a moment of silence for Ryan Papenhuyzen.
Oh, yes, I know.
But Ryan Papenhuyzen's
how sad.
Is there a
I
more...
thought it was his knee at first.
Oh, so did I.
Shivers.
I was like, no.
I was like, that's his career done now.
And then they came out and they were saying it was compound, which was basically career over.
Yeah.
That's what they said at
apparently
first.
now it's not.
And apparently...
So you reckon he'll come back?
NRL physio is pretty confident. And that's who I get. Whatever he says,
he
that's
is on
gospel.
the same level as Turbo. One more injury to his leg, he's done.
Perhaps. That's what I was saying that like before this injury. I was saying like, he can't really afford to get injured again. You got to keep in mind as well, like before the knee, he had like a string of injuries, especially like concussions and stuff. But he just doesn't deserve it. He's such a good role model.
3 games this year.
Such a good player.
Two off the bench.
He played. Yeah, this was his third game, second off the bench, and he played the week before. It's just like, I just felt so. I literally cried.
Did you?
I literally cried watching it happen.
I felt awful.
A tiny little bit.
I didn't go that far.
I didn't bawl my
awful.
eyes out, but like my eyes were tearing up. And then when he came on the screen, it showed him like sucking the green whistle and crying. Like the tears were that got me. I'm not gonna lie. I won't sit here and pretend that didn't make me choke up a little bit. But I just feel so bad for him. All the best to him, hey.
Yeah.
I really hope he comes back because he's one of my favorite. I'd go as far to say that either him or Nico Hines would be my favorite non-Bulldogs player. Like I love Ryan Papenhuyzen. Yeah, no, Ryan Papenhuyzen or Nico Hines. Yeah, no, not Latrell.
If he played for the Bulldogs, would he be?
Oh yeah, I love all Bulldog players, even Hayes Perham. I love them all.
Moving on.
Yeah, Broncos Storms. And outside of the Ryan Papenhuyzen injury, which happened like late in the game as well.
Dominant Broncos game. Yeah, and they proved to me that they can win the comp in this game. Their defense was.
I was about to say, what was more impressive in your opinion, their attack or their defense?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I just got an important message. Their defense was more important in this game.
Yeah, I thought like 26 points in a finals game against Melbourne at Suncorp, that writes itself. But holding Melbourne to 0 points under those circumstances, pretty hectic.
Unbelievable.
And Melbourne were off a little bit, but I think you could make an argument that Broncos sort of forced them into being off.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
In it from the start.
Yeah. They were sucked. The life was sucked out of them. And I think, as you said, like Adam Reynolds was your player of the week. And I think he played a big role in sucking him out.
He absolutely killed in this game.
Yeah.
Wish he was at South.
They could use an Adam Reynolds, do you reckon?
They could. Look, I love the guy, but it really annoys me that he's playing so well.
Yeah, I bet
it really
does.
pisses me off.
I can't wait to see him win the comp this year.
No, can't wait to see him win the Clive Churchill medal.
Yeah. As he deserves it.
Imagine if South played them in the grand final and Reynolds got the Clive Churchill.
You said it the other week. You were like, imagine he kicks a goal from the sideline to win the game.
Yeah.
Just like he couldn't do for South.
In a grand final. No, but just
yeah.
I feel like he's going to get the Clive Churchill because I'm backing Broncos to win the comp.
Yeah, you reckon they beat Panthers?
That's
as I said at the start.
It'll be close between him and Walsh, but I reckon he'll get it.
I think, if Broncos win the comp, it's either Walsh, Reynolds,
Carrigan,
Paddy, or
possibly.
Haas that'll get it.
Yeah, Haas. I've been forgetting about Haas recently.
Yeah. Paddy Carrigan was very good in this game.
He was.
Him and Haas are just on the same level of... They're almost underrated because we just get so used to what they do that you sort of zone it. It's like when Tedesco, when he went on like his crazy form, so you just sort of expected it every week.
Yeah, same with Cleary as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, I can't stand seeing people say Cleary's never going to be a top 10 halfback. He already is. He's top 5 right now of all time. I'm going
top 5
of all time.
If
you don't include 1950 and all that rubbish.
NRL era,
yeah,
I'd have Thurston, Cronk,
Johns,
Joey above
I'd
him.
have him above Cronk. Nelly.
No way.
Very close.
Nah.
Very close.
Nah, no way.
I reckon.
Cronk
fourth.
Is
then we'll put him fourth.
Cronk is. Who else is? I don't think I could put him top 5.
My order is first. I got Thurston, second Johns, third Cronk, fourth Cleary, then fifth Lachlan Ilias. You like that?
He's sleeping on Toby Sexton.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot about him.
You got JT at first, so I'd go.
Actually, no, I've got Johns first. Sorry,
I'd go Johns, And then I'd almost go Cronk over JT.
You reckon?
Because JT was 5'8" halfback. Do you know what I mean? He didn't spend his whole career at halfback. And so it's where Cooper Cronk spent his entire career at halfback, killed it at 2 different clubs, won like back-to-back premierships to end his career, won 3 premierships in a row to end his career, but like went to the Roosters, won back-to-back comps, retired. Like,
oh, no.
That is just insane.
It is.
Like, he literally won them. Like, it was shit. And his performance in that 2018 grand final with the broken shoulder.
Unbelievable, I know.
So, but like Thurston was pretty bloody good as well.
The only weakness for Thurston was his defence. There were times where he just
and that's
tackle.
what separates Joey and JT a lot is the defence.
And Cleary's defence is top tier as well.
That is true.
Like,
that's a fair shout.
Go close to saying Cleary could be better than Thurston, but I know if I said that online, I'd absolutely get a howling.
On trajectory, Cleary he can become the best halfback ever.
Like I'm gonna get a howling if I ever said that online.
You just did, mate. You're on the podcast.
I'm gonna get a howling for saying that.
Saying what, that Cleary's better than Joey?
Not yet. No, not Joey. Thurston.
Oh, sorry, that's what I meant.
Not yet. Definitely not. But I think by the end of his career, he can definitely.
Oh, I agree. 100% he can be.
He's close to already. He's won 2 comps. Thurston's won 2. He can, like. No, I don't know what I'm saying here, but Thurston struggled in defence. Cleary's one of the best defensive halfbacks, and his attack is probably. Maybe I'd still probably have JT ahead of him for attack, just because JT threw these wide balls sometimes and just looked really good.
I think JT's game management's probably above Cleary at the moment.
Yeah, Cleary's a good baller.
But that's not taking away from
and goal
Cleary.
Kicking. I'd still have Thurston.
Yeah.
Just though, because but I know I'm going to cop a howling for saying it, but I think Cleary can end up being better than Thurston.
No, I agree. I think Cleary can end up being the best halfback ever.
Oh, yeah.
He's not right now.
There's people, I don't understand why people say he's never going to be on the same level as them. He pretty much already is.
People need to realise how young he is.
He's never won a Dally M, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But that's because he's had excuses. But
and he hasn't dominated Origin.
He's not going to get it this year either, but but he'll eventually get it.
But he's got time. That's the thing. He's so young.
Yeah. He's a top 5 halfback of all time in the NRL era, whether you like it or not. People just don't want him there because he plays for the Panthers.
I don't know if I can say he's a top 5 ever in like NRL era. But he's definitely will be.
You got those 3. Who else would you have there? I know there's Chrissy Sandow, Adam Reynolds. I don't think Adam Reynolds is in that area. Definitely not Google. Sean Johnson. I wouldn't have.
Like Cherry,
yeah.
Kamali.
I think Cleary's better than
Alan
Cherry.
Langer.
Yeah, but I think Cleary's better than all of them.
Nah, he's not better than like Alan Langer.
I disagree. I think
really.
Looking at the
Nathan
highlights,
Cleary's better than Alan Langer.
I reckon if Cleary played against,
there's more to it than highlights though.
I know, but I reckon if Cleary,
Stacey Jones.
I wouldn't have him top 5. He never won a comp.
I'd have him above Cleary.
You reckon?
As of now. Like Cleary's only halfway through his career.
But John Jones never won a comp.
But he played an entire career where Cleary hasn't finished his career yet.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think, as I said, I think Cleary can be the best halfback ever at the end of his career.
Yeah.
But right now, I don't think he's a top 5
because he could win about 5 comps.
Yeah.
Honestly, maybe even more.
But he could also turn to drugs and throw his career away, and then he's not even a top 10 halfback all time.
Yeah, probably. But
it's too early to tell.
I don't think Cleary's the type of guy to do that.
Well, I mean, he enjoys the TikTok dance.
Yeah, he does, but I don't think he'd end up like that. But anyway,
Broncos Storm,
Zane. Talking about Cleary?
Broncos Storm. I don't really have much else to say. I think we've sort of covered and we haven't gone that deep, but like Broncos killed it in attack, killed it in defense. Paddy Carrigan, amazing. Adam Reynolds, incredible. The Storm.
Katoni
Staggs, very well. All over the park. Like, even Reece Walsh had a great game.
Jordan Ricky to some extent.
Jordan Ricky played well, yeah. And then on the flip side, like Storm, they were just very off. They were kicked out of the game. They were played out of the game. Their forward pack got dominated. I thought, you know who I almost would have gone most disappointed as well? LC Katoa.
Oh, yeah.
Or at least Katoa.
Yeah.
He had a pretty bad game. And then, like, they had a lot of injuries. Obviously, we said Paps got hurt. Xavier Coates got hurt. Tonema Pierre's been dropped.
Yes, he has.
I thought they looked better when he was off the field.
Well, no, Remus Smith's come in for Coates.
And Olam's come in as well. But yeah, I thought Tonema Pierre, Melbourne looked better when he was off getting his HIA. He wasn't very good either. There was a lot of players you could pick from them for most disappointing this week. But you'd assume they bounce back and get up for the next game. They don't usually play 2 bad games in a row.
Oh, recently, they had those periods where they, like, I remember back 2 years ago, the old team never lose back-to-back. I mean, last year they lost 4 in a row. This year they probably gone on a bit of a losing streak.
Yeah.
They've come back to the pack now. They're not the elite team they used to. Like, they're still a good side, but they're not the top, like, ahead of everyone else by miles.
Yeah.
Definitely not there anymore.
Panthers Warriors. Saturday afternoon.
Everyone was
footy.
so disappointed with this result, weren't they? They wanted the Wales to win this game, but no, Panthers were just all over them. I expected this sort of scoreline as well.
Well, as soon as Sean Johnson got rolled out,
yeah, exactly.
I think people would almost have been expecting
Warriors
this before
did
he got
well
rolled
to
out.
not make it worse.
They were in the game for longer than they probably should have been. Like, they were hanging in there. They were just trying to
Dallin Watene-Zelezniak,
on pace
that
with
was
them.
probably one of the worst defensive performances of the weekend.
Yeah, not great from the ex-Bulldogs legend.
Yeah, he was very close to being my most disappointing player. Because everyone loves Dallin at the moment, don't they? He's probably everyone's favourite winger, but that wasn't a good game from him. Back against his old club, his old club.
Yeah. I think he would have spent more time at Penrith than he did at Bulldogs.
I remember him as a Panther more than I do as a Bulldog.
Yeah, I try to.
And he's been around for years, Dallin, as well.
He has been around for
I remember in
quite a
2014
while.
he scored that try in the finals against the Roosters. Like, he seems very young, Dallin, but he's been around for years. He'd be close to 30 now.
Let me have a look. Because you're right, he's been around for ages. He must have debuted very young.
Yeah.
He's 28. He's not that old.
So he would have been 7, 8. Wait.
How old do you reckon he was
No,
when he
would have
debuted?
been 19.
Like 14 or
He would have
something?
been 19 in that 2014 game then.
Did he debut that year? Hang on, let's find out. He
Yeah, I
debuted
reckon-
2014.
Yeah.
Yeah, he debuted against
South
Canberra.
South won that year for your information.
What do you mean?
2014.
I think we were saying Penrith won.
No,
I was
South
like,
won that year
no,
for
they
your
didn't.
information. Just putting it out
The
there.
Bulldogs knocked out Panthers for your
And
information.
the Bulldogs lost the grand final to South.
I don't remember that.
Oh, don't you? One of my favourite games ever. Should rewatch it during the podcast. Go over it.
Any other South grand finals you can remember?
2021.
Did they win that one?
No, they didn't.
They
would have though if it wasn't for a dumb pass. But
have they won any other grand finals like ever?
yeah, 1972,
Oh,
1971,
does that count?
1969, 1967 against the Bulldogs.
Wow, you're going back to the 60s. What a flex.
Yeah.
What a
Tell me
sad
some
brag.
Dogs ones.
I mean, they've won like 20, but that was like 1908, 1909. They cheated Balmain out of one.
They cheated in 2002, which like they probably would have gone close to winning that year if they didn't.
What did they do in 2002?
With the salary cap.
Bulldogs.
Yeah.
I thought I was talking about Souths.
I know.
I'm saying Souths cheated Balmain out of a premiership back in like 1910 or something.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah,
what
no,
I'm talking
when
about?
we didn't.
When they said they were going
didn't
to
show up.
forfeit and then turned up
Yeah.
and stitched them
Wish
up.
that still happened today.
Mate, can you imagine if that sort of shenanigans happened in the
Oh,
modern day?
imagine how controversial it would be.
You know, I'll tell you a yarn, Zane. I'll tell you a yarn. You know how the Bulldogs have the biggest loss ever
Yeah.
to the Dragons back in like
It
1935?
wasn't like 93-6.
Yes, I think it was 96-2 or 9. No, I think it was 93-6. Hang on, let's
Of course,
find
it's the
out.
Dogs.
I want to get this right. But there's actually a story similar to the Souths Balmain one where the Dragons cheated. So it was 91-6. Biggest win ever. The Dragons technically cheated. And call me a biased Bulldogs fan, whatever. But they actually used a new type of ball. So I think the rule back then was like the home team supplies the ball or something. And so they supplied like basically like a trick ball. It was like made of a different sort of material or whatever. And they'd been training with it for weeks and the Bulldogs had never played with it. And it like sat up differently, like the feel of it, the size, like, you know, kicking it, the way it bounces, that sort of thing was all different.
How do you know this?
Because there's newspaper articles about it.
Right.
And like YouTube videos about it. And so like Dragons turned up with this new ball.
Bulldogs still
And-
managed to score a try with it.
And the Bulldogs
At least,
managed
yeah.
to score a try. I think this is when tries were worth 3 points as well. So the
okay.
91's even more impressive. So the Bulldogs might have got 2 tries. But Dragons rock up, absolutely tear the Bulldogs up. And then in the newspaper, the newspaper ran an article about it saying how the Dragons used this new ball. And then the NRL or like ARL, no, it would have been New South Wales Rugby League back then, investigated it. And they deemed the ball like unfair to be used in games, and that ball was never used again. But the score still stands.
I wonder what the ball was like.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting. Do some research. Google it or like YouTube it. There's definitely. I assume I saw it on a video or something, or I think I saw a tweet about it. But you'd be able to find it on the internet somewhere. They used the ball, scored 91 points, and then New South Wales Rugby League said the ball was actually like shouldn't be used because it was unfair. But they still let the score stand. So that's a little yarn for you, Zane. But Panthers Warriors, what did you like about the Panthers?
Just a typical Panthers game, really. Like, they make it look so easy when they go to the outside. They just pass it along and they just draw defenders in. It works every time, and it really annoys me that teams still fall for it, except Souths in round 8, obviously. You know, round 7, I mean. Well, no, sorry, it is round 8. Except Souths in round 8, they didn't fall for it, but other teams just keep doing it.
I think
they're not looking at it enough in their video sessions.
I think a big thing for Panthers is, like, let's take the right edge, for example. You got Nathan Cleary at halfback. You got Liam Martin running a line off his right shoulder. You got Dylan Edwards sweeping out the back. And then you got Stephen Crichton and Brian Toto. If you're a defender, who do you pick to defend? Because, like, Cleary...
They just got to give someone one man to mark. Yeah. And that's how South beat them. And the Tigers beat them as well.
There's so many... Like, that's such just high-quality talent, like New South Wales players.
And Yo's there as well.
And Yo's there as well. And so the defence would just be rattled because you're thinking so much. You're thinking, like, I've got to stop Crichton, I've got to stop Edwards. And obviously, like, you do defend man-to-man, but you just get so wrapped up in... you know, the decoys out the back or whatever. You don't know what Cleary's going to do.
And as someone who's not a
you've got so much time.
As someone who's not a footy player, because, you know, I'm an orange peeler, like, watching it happen just really annoys me. I'm like, how do you fall for it? Just stay on your line. You don't need to run in and just trample on a big shot.
I just think it's because they're just so high quality across the park.
Opposition, that's who you got to just target.
I think teams almost get in their own heads. They almost get... They turn to fanboys.
They just swipe it out to Toto and he gets in with it's Taruva as well. Like, he walks around with no one in front of him, and Johnston.
Yeah, and Cleary just has so much time. He was so good in this game. As I said, I think he was perfect in this game.
Yeah, 10
his
out of
time
10.
and every decision he made, it just seemed like he made the right decision. Like, he played really, really well. Liam Martin played very well. I thought he was good in this game. Who else? Any other standouts?
Yo had a good game.
Yo.
Taruva was really good. Well, pretty much everyone.
Who was left centre?
It was Peachy. No, was it? I think Peachy was on the bench.
Let's have a look.
No,
was it McLean?
No.
No, it wasn't. Wasn't it?
I think it was a pretty, like, you know, not a fringe player, but someone who's in there regularly. I don't think it was Peachy.
I think it was Peachy or Hoskins. No,
it might have been Hoskins.
No, it wasn't. It was Luke Garner.
Okay, yes,
Luke Garner.
Who it was, yeah,
that's who I was thinking. I said McLean. I was thinking.
I like Luke Garner.
Yeah, no, he goes all right. I prefer him at second row, but
Tigers
did a job.
Panthers bought him from the Tigers to replace Kickow.
Yeah,
he played like 2 games and then got injured. Hoskins came in and like killed it. So Paul
and lost his spot.
Lost his spot. I know. Poor guy.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, he's got the last laugh now because he's playing 80 minutes in a finals game.
Exactly.
First time ever. Cleary's trial was pretty good at the end.
Oh, yeah.
That summed up as I said.
Wade Egan's trial was really good.
Shout out to Wade Egan,
Lithgow boy. When that happened?
Yeah, well, he obviously like
can imagine all the cheer whoos that were going on at Penrith there when that happened.
Yeah, what were they down by, like 18 or something at the time?
People thought they could come back. Like, I remember the commentators were like, oh, here we go.
I was at the Leagues Club with my mate, and it was 18-0, and I think we said if it's 18-0 or more with 20 minutes to go, like, we'll go home because we're at Panthers League, so we wanted to avoid the traffic and get home in time to watch the second game. And then Wade Egan scored this try like 2 minutes before we were going to leave, and we were like, oh, I guess we'll have to stay now and watch the rest of the game in case they come back. But they did not come back.
No, they did not.
But yeah, shout out to Wade Egan. I was actually coached by his dad. Played footy with 2 out of 3 of his brothers. So shout out to the Egans, Lithgow family.
Possible orange peeler appearance.
Yeah,
maybe.
Surely. Wade Egan, come on the podcast. Get the whole family on here. What about the Warriors, Zane? Any standout players for you outside of Dallin being bad? Any good players? Any bad players?
Not really. Shans, I didn't think played well.
Yeah. They just missed Sean Johnson, but they also missed Metcalf.
Metcalf's
they
been
missed
very,
both halves.
very underrated this year.
Yeah. I think like everyone talks about how Sean Johnson was out, and I think we're also forgetting like both halves are out, and that just makes it that much harder. Like, there's not really anyone to take control in terms of the team's, I guess, standard game plan. Like, you got 2 halves trying to, I guess, remember it or run the show, and that can just slow everything down. But I do want to say, Sean Johnson doesn't stop Panthers from scoring 32 points.
Oh no, I still think
Like, there was
Panthers.
still
I still
big
think Panthers
issues.
would have won this game.
Oh no, yeah,
Maybe
100%.
not by the margin. I think Warriors could have got a few more points.
I'm just more so saying Sean Johnson being out is just, it's not an excuse. Like, do you know what I mean?
He carries that team.
He's not just appearing and making that many
carries that
tackles
team.
and not defensively though.
Oh yeah, no. I think Warriors could have scored a few more.
Oh, 100%. They would have scored more.
because they blew a few
Definitely.
opportunities.
But I just mean defensively, like leaking 32 points in a finals game. Sean Johnson isn't fixing that.
Well, maybe this week when he's back.
We'll find out. I hope so. Up
You
the
reckon
last.
they'll just saving him for this game?
Yeah.
Because
They
they'd prefer to go the other way and play the Broncos.
They came out and said that if it was an elimination, he would have played.
Oh,
so they
yeah.
basically were resting him, which I thought was smart. I said from the jump, if that's the case where he's sort of like he could play, I'd probably just rest him. Because, you'd prefer to be on the side they're on now. I'd rather play Knights Broncos to get to a grand final than Storm.
I
Panthers.
wouldn't mind playing the Storm.
Yeah, but then Panthers
Yeah.
in an elimination. You'd rather play Panthers in a
I mean,
non-elimination.
South did beat Panthers this year. Just
But
putting
Souths
it
aren't
out
in
there.
the finals.
They're
though.
not, but they did beat
South
Panthers.
suck.
Oh,
One of the worst teams this year. They couldn't even play finals footy.
What
They
about the
lost
Dogs?
They won 4 out of their last however many games and
13, I
had
know,
to
but
make
we
the
were top of the
finals.
table at one point.
Lost to
Dogs-
their biggest rivals, the
Dogs are-
Roosters, in the final round and got jumped.
They did.
Anyway,
No comment.
Do you
no
have
comment.
anything
We don't
more to
talk
say
about South
about?
are irrelevant now. Worry about.
That's exactly what I'm saying, mate.
Yeah.
Panthers Warriors. Anything else to add?
Nah. Just I'm kind of expected this scoreline as soon as they ran out on the field. I
Yeah.
said to myself, it's going to be a big blowout.
Are you worried about the Warriors and their premiership hopes? Their grand final hopes.
Yeah.
Do you
I
think
don't think they're going to make it.
You reckon they'll beat Knights?
Yeah.
Like obviously we'll get to.
I
Our
reckon they'll beat
predictions,
Knights, but I think Broncos will win pretty well against them as well, pretty convincingly.
Who would you rather play in a prelim? Broncos at Suncorp? Like, as of right now, Broncos at Suncorp or Panthers at Penrith? Which is scarier?
Probably Broncos only because
You'd rather play
Panthers have knocked
Broncos?
us out. The Bunnies out last
No,
3 years.
not as in South, just like in general. Like, pretend you're the Warriors, I
I'd
guess.
say Panthers.
Or Knights.
Although that's a tough question. I'd say Panthers.
You'd
Only 'cause
rather
I think-
play Panthers?
Only because I think Broncos there's a lot more people writing about them now. Whereas
Hmm.
Penrith, they're just used to winning. But again, they're very experienced in these big games.
Yeah.
But I'll just say Penrith.
I'll tell you what I did not notice in this game. The absence of Jerome Lua. I thought Jack Colger did his
He
job.
did.
That's just my
Well, I
last
forgot
comment.
about Lua until he put
Yeah.
that up the pars.
Exactly. Yeah, like I didn't even. You didn't even realize that he wasn't playing.
Just wait
Eh?
for next year when Critter puts up the bars.
Up the bars.
And then there's, Trell putting up the Ras. Sloan putting up the Dras.
The Dras. Up the Dras. What
You know,
about up
Josh
the Stars?
Papali'i with up the Ras. Just like South, really. Jeez.
No, up the SARS. Zane, the Sharkies.
Yeah.
They lost
They
to the Roosters.
bombed this game.
Yeah, they did
And
bottle
again,
it a bit.
cannot beat a good side, can they?
You calling the Roosters a good side?
Well,
That's an orange peelers first.
well, they must be if they've beaten the Sharks, because the Sharks can't be good sides. So
What was it? 12-6.
I thought they'd win this. I tipped the Roosters, but like at halftime, I'm like, yeah, I think the Sharks can go away with this. And when Tedesco got sin bin, I'm like, yeah, they should surely win.
How long was left when he got Simba? Around 20 minutes?
Yeah.
So
I said, I'm like, Sharks, I reckon, should put
they
this
were
in the bag
up.
now.
I think they were up 10-6 and took a penalty goal.
And I looked away for like 5 minutes, and I come back, and the Roosters were leading. I just missed the
It
Seymour
was
field goal.
12-6. Joey Manu had gone off injured. Joseph Suwali
I
had gone
know.
off injured. Neither of them returning. Billy Smith was off getting a HIA.
Luke Keary was out there.
Yeah,
As well.
And then
Teddy
James,
got sin
and then
binned.
Teddy got sin binned.
Yeah, and Luke
with
Keary
20
was
minutes
playing.
left.
Like,
Yeah.
how did the Roosters win this?
And then Sharks. I think they didn't score another point. They scored right as
they bombed it.
sin binned or
They
something. That
really
was
should have
it.
won this game.
Yeah.
I tipped the Roosters, and like 10 minutes in, I'm like, yeah, I think the Sharks could get them here, but they bombed it.
I just don't.
It's unbelievable.
It was shocking.
Yeah, but I mean, did we expect the Sharks to go too far? Not really.
When they were up 12-6, I expected
Yeah,
them
but
to
like
win the
in
game.
general for the season.
Nah.
Yeah.
Well, I thought Roosters were winning this game until 20 minutes to go.
Yeah.
I think the more the game went on, the less I thought Roosters would win, but they just still got it done.
Well, the Roosters, it was a grinding game, but I think this could take a lot out of them as well.
Well, it did.
This will make them...
On
yeah.
paper, it took a lot out
I
of them.
know,
Yet
that's why
alone,
I'm worried. And the Storm had a big loss. Like, could be a bloodbath. I know Hainesy's saying it's going to be really tight, but just shush Hainesy.
Storm would have been licking their lips watching this game go to extra time.
Yeah, I just think
well, it didn't go to extra time, but
no matter who won, I think they would have both. This game would have taken
just fatigued.
Too much. It reminds me of 2018 with the Storm and the Rabbitohs.
Yeah,
they played each other in week 1 in it was a cracking game, and both those teams weren't the same for the rest of the finals. That game just took it all out of them. Like, you remember the Storm in that grand final, they only scored an intercept try.
Yeah.
And the prelim against the Sharks the week before, they weren't even that good. And you see South, they got lucky to beat the Dragons in that second week, which was a great game as well.
No, games like this take it out of you.
All 13 points in that game scored by the legend Adam Reynolds. All 13, including...
Adam Reynolds. Wouldn't you love to have him?
Yeah.
Was there any standout players for you from either team in this one? I've got one. That Roosters second rower, Wong.
I had him in my fantasy team this year.
Wow. How good was he?
He was good. I like his perm as well.
He's a rookie as well.
Yeah.
This was just an absolute breakout game for him.
Teddy was pretty good.
Teddy had a good game.
Yeah, good game. Not elite Teddy, but...
I'll tell you who I want to give a shout out to. Nico Hines. I think he's going to get a lot of the blame because he's the halfback and he just seems to wear it a lot. But he was very good in this game.
And I know I just dissed him before, but Luke Keary.
Yeah. I don't know why he didn't Luke Keary. I've always liked Luke Keary. Got a bit of Kieran Foran about him.
I just think people overhype him way too much.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't have an issue with him. South's legend, but I just think people...
He single-handedly won
back in, a few years ago when people were saying he's the best half in the game, I disagreed with the entire thing. I'm like, no way in the world. And people wanted him as the New South Wales halfback.
Yeah.
5'8", and he did play an Origin game, but he was shocking in it.
Yeah, and hasn't played since.
And got his spot taken down from the current New South Wales halfback, Cody Walker.
Halfback?
Oh, 5'8", sorry. But,
I'm pretty sure Lua is the current.
No, he's not.
And he just got injured and missed his
spot. He didn't get injured. Yeah. He got dropped. Yeah. He had work the next day.
But yeah, I thought Nico Hines, a lot of people will blame him for the loss and because everyone's Nico Hines can't beat top 8 teams. He can't win finals. But this was not Nico Hines' fault. He was very, very good in this game. He was easily the best Sharks player, and nobody was standing up with him.
Yeah, they're right, though. How many good teams has he beaten? Do you remember the finals?
But it's not. This one's not his fault.
He was non-existent in the finals.
Yeah, that was last year. Though this year he existed,
and he wasn't.
He was their best player.
I wonder why he's not the Origin halfback.
He was so good in this game.
Fittler even criticised him as well. He hasn't been in good form lately.
But I just mean this game. He was pretty good. He was easily. He was.
Do you reckon if it went
top 3 best players?
If it went to extra time and Hines did get that field goal, who do you reckon would have won? Because I reckon Sharks would have won from there.
Roosters were hanging on.
They were. I reckon
hanging.
If they didn't get that charge down, Hines got that kick. I reckon extra time, Sharks would have won that game.
Yeah, I agree.
From there,
those charge downs were just high effort plays. When you talk about 1%ers, that's a 1%er personified. That
Sharks,
charge down.
I've never really had an issue with him, but I'm starting to find their supporters really annoying.
Like who?
Just their supporters in general are just so full. They don't seem to see through that the Sharks can't beat good sides. They seem to think this Sharks team can win a comp. I don't think they can.
Yeah.
I saw Andrew Johns post what he thought about the Sharks, and I completely agree with him. They don't have an X Factor player.
I'd say Nico Hines
He's not an X Factor player. He hasn't proved himself to be one. They need a player like...
Nico Hines can be an X Factor player, but the role he's playing at the Sharks at the moment is not an X Factor.
They need
role.
a
when he was at Storm,
he
was X Factor.
They need a Trell Mitchell. They need someone like that.
Trell Mitchell, X Factor.
Change the game out of nowhere.
They need somebody in the game that can just sit around doing nothing.
Well, someone who can just spark out of nowhere. They don't have that.
No, I know what you mean.
Their spine is pretty... it's a good enough spine, but I think they need another X Factor in it.
A bit of oomph.
A bit of oomph, yeah.
They need some oomph.
Hayes Perham could do the job.
They can take him. I was about to say something, but I forget what I was going to... before we move on from this game, I've got a mate who's a Sharks fan, and I've got reports. I can't confirm this, but I've got reports that on that last play when Talakai dropped the ball, he smashed his phone.
He
threw it on the ground and literally just shattered the screen and then punched a wall.
At the ground?
No, not the game.
House.
In his lounge room, which almost makes it worse. Threw his phone and punched a wall.
The poor Sharks fans, I feel for
shout
them.
out to
They haven't won a
to
finals game since 2018 and they've only missed the finals.
I think they've lost 5 in a row or 6 in a row.
They've only missed the finals once in that time.
Yeah, but they can't win games.
That they're just the bludger team. They're we'll make up the numbers.
Yeah.
That seems to be the Sharks every year.
Yeah, at least they made the finals.
They did. So, yeah, it's a pass of a season. I think next week I might
Is it a pass? Is it a pass of a season?
Next year I'll bring in, because, I'm getting all my school reports now since my school ends. I'll make some report cards and we can grade each team. We'll do that next week.
That's what I'm like.
But,
not next week. We'll do it in the post-season review.
We might get a special guest for that.
We can try.
We can try
and get a guest. We might kidnap someone and just force them in.
Yeah.
Would you say this is a pass of their season? Would you give them a pass?
I'd say making finals is a pass enough, but
I think maybe
their
a
standards
pass.
From where they were last year.
They should have gone
second.
further than they did last year. They made it to week 2 of the finals and came second. They've gone backwards.
And they're in the same situation as, remember that Cowboys Sharks game, 90 minutes. That took it out of both teams. Like I said with the Storm, Cowboys, I didn't think they were going to win that prelim. And the Sharks out next week, the Raiders just pumped them. It just made them exhausted. I think this is the game. Because, week 1 of the finals every year always has some real blockbuster game.
Yeah.
This is the game.
Yeah.
That's going to just take it all out of both sides.
Well, I think speaking of games that take it out of both sides, if that Sharks-Roosters game wasn't it, the Raiders-Knights game would have absolutely taken it out of both sides.
I agree.
How about you want
two rubbish games to start the finals, then the four teams that didn't even make the top 4 have the better games.
If you said to me at the start of the weekend, pick one game to not watch, it would have been this game, because I thought Knights were just going to absolutely dominate.
So did I, until they were warming up, and I was watching them warm up. The Raiders, I'm like, I've got a feeling this could be a lot tighter.
I actually had somebody message me.
Like I said last week, this is the type of game you'd normally see Saturday 3 p.m.
Literally.
It's not a finals
I had
game.
somebody message me before, I think maybe as the game kicked off or something, they were talking about the game, and they were like, I want the Knights to win, but I have a feeling Raiders will. And I laughed at them. I was like, nah, the Knights are going to put on an absolute clinic. This will be 40 points. And I was proven wrong. Maybe I shouldn't be on this podcast.
Just know finals, don't know.
They always Ricky Stewart can get a side up for
it. Everyone's like, how the hell are they playing finals? How did they make it this year?
Yeah.
With that for and against, they minus what?
They didn't win any games 13 plus.
That's a team that probably should have finished around 12th. They just won important games, but overall they should have been around 11th, 12th. And South should have had that last spot, but
then they sort of proved that they did deserve.
South into it,
they sort of proved that they deserved to be there, because they put up a fight and they could have won this game. They lost to a penalty goal. They were missing Josh Papali'i and Horsburgh.
Yeah, Stewart was proud as well, wasn't he?
He was very proud in his press conference. I've never seen him so proud.
Yeah, he's proud, wasn't he?
Have you ever seen a prouder man?
Yeah, proud.
He was proud.
He said proud about
it. He said proud that many times.
Yeah.
He was proud.
When he made the point saying, well, unlucky not to be in the top 4, I was like, no.
Yeah.
You were very lucky to make the top 8, not the top 4.
Yeah. But no, I think credit to the Raiders. I don't think anyone expected this. Nobody expected them to make a game of it.
Though, really. Because they always show up in finals.
Yeah, 100%. They beat Storm week 1 last year. Everyone forgets that.
Do you reckon this season's a pass for them?
Yeah.
You reckon?
I'll give them a pass.
To their standards?
I thought they'd miss the 8. I didn't think they'd make the 8.
This is a team, every year, and Stuart even pointed it out, everyone just forgets about them.
Yeah.
Every year, even going into next year, I've got a feeling they're going to drop pretty badly.
Yeah, I think so.
I think they're possible wooden spoon contenders, but with that attitude Stuart has, I don't think they will.
He's a good coach.
Yeah, I just feel again, they're just a weird team. You don't know where they're going to finish. You'd have to think of the players they're losing, they'd miss the 8.
Yeah, they're missing Wyden. They've lost Snyder mid-year, which is halves. They're Frawley, they've lost.
Croker.
And then, Croker
even
retiring.
Though he wasn't really a big part of the side.
But, his leadership and off-field stuff on club legend. Look at the Bulldogs losing Josh Jackson. That has an impact, losing club legends and that DNA, I suppose. That plays a role. That's culture stuff.
Yeah.
Look at the Bulldogs. I honestly feel like if the Bulldogs still had Josh Jackson this year, they would have gone better, especially just culture-wise. It is a big loss.
He's got that dog in him.
Croker does have a bit of dog in him.
Oh, he's got that Raider in him.
He's got that Raider in him. What about the Knights, though? So they won the game by the penalty goal.
Don't they? How have they won 10 in a row?
Insane.
It is.
Insane.
No one thought
10 weeks ago, they came up against... Oh, not 10 weeks ago, but was the Bulldogs the first game of the streak?
Was the start of the streak. So
before
Bulldogs
the
played
Bulldogs
the Knights
game,
into reform, didn't they?
I think it was like the morning of that game
Their
or the day
last loss
before
was
that game.
Penrith.
The news headlines were saying that if they lost to us,
Yeah.
Adam O'Brien's job was gone.
Yeah.
And since then they've won 10 in a row.
Yeah, the
and
week
week
before,
12
their
final.
last loss was to the Panthers, 2012, when Welsh said, "How
Yeah,
did the Knights
yeah.
lose there?"
They
That was
lost that, had a bye, and haven't lost since.
I know, unbelievable.
Yeah, incredible.
And now Adam O'Brien, people are saying Coach of the Year possibility.
Yeah.
From getting,
I remember even 5 weeks ago, like 5, 6, say like 4 or 5 weeks out from the finals, Trademark Sports made a video saying that Knights could sneak into the finals. And even then I was
he lives
nah.
up that way though, so he's knows a lot of Knights people.
Well, he said to me he wasn't being
I've noticed
biased.
he's
He was
very
just trying to be
biased towards the
smoky.
Knights, isn't he?
He wasn't trying to be biased. He just said he
But
was
I've
trying
noticed
to
recently he's been very biased
seem
towards
smart.
them.
Has he? Well, that's because he's being biased towards them because he predicted them to make it the finals, and then everyone was like, "Nah, bro." Like I DM'd him, and I was
early
like,
on, I was
"No
like,
way."
I was like, there could be a smoky to make it because they have that tight game against the Panthers, but then they'd have some shocking games as well. Where they've looked so good recently.
Yeah. Well, no, they played even in this game against the Raiders. Like they had a couple of periods where they looked a bit off, but when they were on, they were on.
Oh, yeah.
Like that try
I
Dom
know.
Young scored.
He's going to be a big loss for him next year.
Oh,
Let me ask you this: how do you think they'll go next year, the Knights?
I think they'll fall out of the 8.
So do I. So do I.
They always do this. They played finals like 2 years ago, and everyone's like, "Oh, they're back," and then they just fall back
2021,
out.
they shouldn't have.
They're
I
up
don't know
and down.
how
up
they
and
finished
down.
that high in 2020.
Yeah.
They were not a 7th place team.
That's what I mean.
That just
They
shows
always
how
do it.
rubbish the league was that
They
year.
played 2 years in a row, didn't they?
Yeah.
20 and 21.
2020, they weren't too bad, but they fell off a bit towards the end. But
Yeah.
2021, they should not have been. Like, that just shows how rubbish the season was, where the Knights and the Titans made it was literally the top 6. And then from there, like, the top 3 were yards ahead of
Yeah.
the other
Yeah.
3. And then somehow the Titans and the Knights just got lucky that year.
Yeah, they
Like,
always
especially the Titans,
jump
like
in.
10 and 14. You should not be playing finals.
Yeah.
With a 10 and 14 record.
What about well? There was teams outside of the 8 this year that had like positive
I know.
win records.
Yeah.
Like, was South 50-50?
We were 12-12.
12-12,
and our
yeah.
point for and against was like 54.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. I got a question for you, Zane. Is the Knights spine the worst in the NRL without Kalen Ponga?
Without Callum Ponga, yes.
You reckon?
They
Oh,
are.
you reckon?
Yeah.
That's what Willie Mason thinks. So and he's copped an absolute spray
I
from
know.
Tyson Gamble during that. You
Come
reckon
on,
it
tell
is?
me. Read out the spine now.
That's like I almost agree though. That's the thing.
Hastings, not bad. Not bad at all. Can
Yeah.
be very good on his day. That voice crack.
But then it's
not
like
bad.
Crossland and Gamble.
Yeah, but I
and
know someone
Miller.
who believes that. Well, I haven't spoken to him since, but weeks ago, last year, I think it was, said that Crossland is the worst player in the NRL, the overall worst. And I
Yeah.
think he's proved him completely wrong this
Can
year.
you
I don't think
imagine-
he's the worst.
Can you
player.
imagine like a grand final winning side and Phoenix Crossland's the hooker?
Yeah.
Like surely not.
Yeah. Well,
Like
tell me,
no
who do you
offense to
think
him,
is
but
the
surely not.
worst?
He wasn't even a hooker 2
Who do you
years
think
ago.
is the worst player?
The worst player in the NRL.
The worst. It has to be a player that's like, regularly in the first grade.
I don't want to say his name, but I think you know who I'm
Yeah.
thinking of. I'm not gonna
with you.
trash. I'm not gonna trash my own team.
I'm not going to trash my boy either.
Oh, who are you thinking
Mine,
of?
number 7, because he's not the worst. But
Ilias?
there's a lot of people who believe
Elias is not the worst player in the NRL.
there's a lot of people who
There's
believe
far
he
worse.
is the worst, and I just think you're completely full of
There
it.
was someone. Oh, the other person that outside of the one that I think Wonga
And actually,
Blake.
by the way, I will be going to another game before the end of the year.
Who?
It's a finals game next Sunday.
What game?
3 p.m. Combank Stadium. The Rezzies.
Oh, you
New South
going
Wales
to
Cup,
it?
Yeah.
You know what? I was actually thinking about going to it as well because Dogs are playing Flake. Are you actually going to it?
Yeah, more than likely.
Oh, that's the weekend of prelims, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think.
It's a Sunday. I'm going.
I'm flying up to the Gold Coast that day, so
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll be able to go. But if I can, depends what time my flight
Yeah,
is.
go
Because I wanted to go. I didn't think
So
that.
I was trying to
forgot
work
about
this out
South,
like
though.
with someone before. So if your team gets knocked out, the first grade team, those players can't just go play reserve grade.
No, so you
Yeah,
have to
I
have
was
played.
trying-
I think it's like
Yeah,
6 games. Or something.
that's
There's
what
a
I mean.
minimum game
They
you have to
They can't
play.
play more than a certain amount of games in first grade.
Yeah.
Back
Oh,
down.
I don't know if it
'Cause,
matters how
Blake
many
Taft's
first grade you
playing.
play, but you
Shaq
definitely
Mitchell's
have to have
playing.
played. I think it's more so how many New South Wales Cup games you've played.
Yeah. So Trell and Murray and all that just can't go play.
There was actually an
reserve grade.
incident the other year, a couple of years ago, with the Bulldogs. It would have been 2017. Do you remember Reece Martin?
Yeah.
It was 2018, I think, maybe. But there was an incident where he'd been playing a lot of Cup early in the
I think
season.
I remember. Was that the one at Leichhardt? I remember
I
Greg Eastwood played in it.
maybe I don't know, but so he'd played a lot of Cup to start the season, but then got caught up into first grade and was killing it. And he was one game below the requirement to play finals in Cup, And so in like one of the last rounds of the season, he got named in first grade, but they also named him in New South Wales Cup. He started the game, Bulldogs were kicking off. He started the game on the field on the wing. They kicked off, and like as they kicked off, instead of chase and kick, he just ran off the field and up the sheds.
Really?
And it counted as like him playing.
What, in reserve grade? Or?
Yeah, so that was in reserve grade and then went up the sheds and played first grade. But they did it so he could play finals in New South Wales Cup.
Yeah, because I was just thinking, like, Murray and Troll can't just go to playing reserve grade.
No, they can't play the finals, but if they had been like dropped to reserve grade for like the last 6 weeks or something, I think it's 6 or 8 weeks or something.
So why don't like wooden spoon clubs just do that?
Well, yeah, I guess because
the Tigers could have done it.
Because I guess first grade's just more of a priority.
Yeah, Combank Stadium, we're going to be playing either the Wars or who's the other team?
Eels?
No, it's not the Eels.
They were Flag. It's Eels or Roosters in Flag against Bulldogs.
No, in New South Wales Cup it is.
Yeah, but I'm talking Flag.
It's
that's
the
Wars. Is it Bears?
Or the Bears, yes. One of those.
Because you just beat the Bears. Yeah.
But out of nowhere, South's in the reserve grade early on.
We pumped you reserve grade side.
Early on, well, that night our reserve grade side was playing first grade.
So was ours though.
Oh,
I think a lot of people forget that we had more New South Wales Cup players in first grade than you guys did.
Like, Souths are rubbish in New South Wales Cup, but they've just come out of nowhere. Like Pistol Pete's been killing it. Pete Mum is all I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Blake Taff, future Dogs legend, but
it's true.
He's going to be playing in this game.
That's why I was keen to go watch it as well, but I don't think I can.
Nah, yes, and I love.
So you're definitely going?
More than likely. I'm about 80-20. I should go.
Make sure everyone go say hi to Zane at that game. Maybe me, but I don't think
it won't be a
massive
crowd,
Zane.
but
I went last year. It's pretty decent. People rock up for it.
Well,
it's
I wish I went
day.
to the Leichhardt game.
It's because it's a Combank.
I wish I went to the Leichhardt game last week because some
boys
boys from the borough were there, and Murray and Totola were just sat literally next to him in the grandstand. I'm like, true. I wish I was there.
I went to the...
Could possibly negotiate a orange peel as guest.
Last year, I went to St. Mary's last year because my mate plays in the Panther system and he was debuting in New South Wales Cup week 1 of the finals. Because they start finals a week earlier.
Yeah.
And so it was around where Panthers rested all their players against Cowboys. And so he got caught up into Cup. So I went to watch him debuting Cup, and Bulldogs are playing the game after. And all the Bulldog first graders were there, and I met Mick Potter, the Ock was there. So it's pretty cool. It's a good chance to meet some players. And even
New South Wales Cup.
No, because first graders go as well. But then a lot of the people that have played first grade but are eligible for Cup, they all play Cup as well.
Yeah,
you're talking like Blake Taff and stuff. They're first grade. He's played in the grand final before. So it's good to get around the Cup finals, especially when it's at suburban grounds, cheap entry, gets experience.
This will be cheap entry at Combank.
I think it's $10.
Yeah,
it's good. I went last year because once again I was watching my friend play in the Flag grand final, and then Bulldogs were the Cup grand final. And it's a good day. I like it. I'd highly recommend going.
It's not necessarily NRL atmosphere, but it's
No, but just in terms of just getting to watch some footy and you see who's coming up through the ranks. Go and watch the Flag grand final. You get
yeah, exactly. But
future stars. It's good stuff.
Going off topic here, aren't we?
Very off topic. Mate, we got to fill the time slot somehow. Raiders Knights. Do you have anything else to add? Any standout players?
No, it was a very entertaining game though. Raiders very unlucky in the end. It wasn't for Jack Biden, future Rabbitohs legend. Got the job done here.
Literally, he was just a bit too hungry, Jack Biden. I thought Ponga was very good.
Yes, as he has.
Any other? They did well to do it without Hastings, who got hurt early on.
Yeah.
I thought. Do you reckon Knights can go? How far are they going? Do you reckon they lose to Warriors?
I reckon they lose this week. I cannot see.
I think they can beat them, but
I think they can beat them. I just cannot see a world where they lose over there.
You know what?
Warriors. No way in the world.
We may as well get into our predictions, Zane. This is where the money's made.
Souths aren't here for once.
This is literally where the money's made, because before we get into our predictions, we're going to give a shout out to the greatest betting company of all time, Picklebet. Shout out to Picklebet. If you want to just get free money, bet on the NRL games.
Yes.
It's as simple as that, but also it's not actually free money. You're probably going to lose. Always gamble responsibly. But if you're going to jump on Picklebet and have a bet, use code HOTDOG when you're signing up. Have you had any cheeky bets on the finals yet?
Not recently. I'm trying to save money to go on a holiday. So
it's very, very smart.
Very clever.
Zane is gambling responsibly.
It's good when you get a win, but it doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
Just letting you know that.
That is very true. But if you want to try and get a win, do it with Picklebet.
Yeah.
Storm Roosters, Zane, the first game this week. Is it the best? Which game are you more excited for?
Round, I reckon.
Yeah, I think so.
But however, I think the Storm are going to win and win well.
We did exact.
We did
predictions last week. I actually deleted them. I can't keep us accountable.
By 22. 32-10.
32-10.
Half time. 24
Oh, my
nil.
God.
I'm not going to. I'm like, it's like Amelia's predictions.
Yeah.
Like
Very specific.
20th minute.
Yeah.
Half time.
Zane,
60th minute.
Amelia just does how the game's going to play. It's
But
like
30
Matt Burton try 4th minute.
Yeah.
Fox try 8th minute.
I'm going to go, Storm 32 to 10.
Yeah.
And Remus Smith, former Bulldogs legend, to score.
I rate that. Is he back from injury or is he just been out?
I think he's just, both, I think. I think he got
okay.
dropped but lost his
And
spot.
then got injured.
I think he got injured but lost his spot.
Yeah, okay, yeah, okay.
And Justin Olam is playing again.
Yeah, he's back. I'm going Storm. I'm going 24 to 6. I think a big win.
Yeah.
And I'm going Cammy Munster.
Score.
To
yeah,
score.
he's a
I
good,
think he's out for revenge.
Break the line on his own.
Yeah.
Teddy
in
will slip
Melbourne.
over, probably.
Yeah, literally.
usual.
That's exactly how to play out. Clip that up because that's how it's going to play out. That's literally what will happen.
Yeah.
He slips over a lot, Teddy.
Yeah.
In Origin especially. And then Warriors Knights is the other game. Plenty of games to predict this week. I don't know how we're going to do
Mount
this
Smart
all.
Stadium. I'm glad it's not at Eden Park. I'm glad they've put it at Mount Smart. The Spider Wires, they're going to be there thriving. It's going to be Aaron Woods, in front of the coach's box.
Yeah.
Well, he got banned from
Shui
there.
Vasacek. He ate Mayo the other week.
I reckon I'm going to go Warriors, obviously. I'm going to say 32 to 16.
Oh, high scoring.
Yeah, 32 to 16. I think they cannot lose over there.
Yeah.
Then anytime try score
Surely.
SJ, Sean Johnson.
SJ?
Yeah.
I like that. Oh, imagine him scoring in a finals game.
Yeah, at Mount Smart.
Like,
in the
he's-
corner where the Spider Wires are.
Up the wires.
Yeah, just
Up
all
the wires.
the chair hoos you're going to hear when that happens.
Wow, that's got me excited. That's got me toey.
I love how at Mount Smart, they start shooting the fire out before I tries even score.
Yeah.
Like if there's a line break, they shoot it out.
They get a bit carried away, don't they?
No.
They jump the
I
gun.
just saw like Johnson dummied and ran, and broke the line and didn't go far, but they kept shooting the fire.
Well, I've got a question for you before I give my tip. How many streakers?
I'm going to say 7 to be exact, yeah.
They don't.
Then you're gonna
There's
hear
not
the-
really any way of
That's
knowing.
because
Is
over in
there,
New
but-
Zealand, the laws about it are different to what they
they're
are
lesser punishments,
here.
so everyone streaks.
That's why remember when they played the Broncos at, what was the ground?
Not
It
Eden.
was at some smaller ground.
The one where they wear the yellow jerseys.
That game. I just remember the stadium announcer. He's like, stay off the field. It's like,
Yeah.
Do you
He was
remember?
always just begging them to
he's
stay
like,
off
can
the
you
field.
please get off the field?
He sounded so cut
"Tell-
about it.
Maybe talk to your mates before they do something dumb.
Yeah.
Everyone thought the Warriors' downfall was starting there as well, that game.
Yeah, but no, they've hung in there. I'm going Warriors by a field goal.
A field goal.
I'm going to go Warriors 17 to 16.
Oof.
So
I
Knights
reckon it's going to be
back-to-back
higher
weeks.
scoring than that.
Yeah, that's what I think. But I feel like sometimes when you expect a high-scoring game, it cancels out.
Yeah.
And it's not high-scoring because both teams have a big focus on defense.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm going 17-16. And, yeah, I'm going Dallin, I think, to score, which is
He
a
was
bit
my
of a
second
safe
choice. I
bet.
reckon he's the other one who's going to score.
That's
and
a
guess who
safe
was goal
option,
kicking
but-
last week for the Wires? Adam Pompey.
Yeah.
Didn't know he was a goal kicker.
He's
Our
been
favourite
doing,
player on.
He's one of the greats. Him
Yeah.
and Gramble. No, he's been doing a bit of goal kicking recently in the last couple of weeks
Yeah.
because the SJ's been injured. So yeah, shout out to
Yeah.
Orange Peelers legend Adam
gotta
Pompey.
get him on Adam
Surely,
Pompey.
he's a legend of Orange Peelers. But that's us done, Zane.
It is.
That's our finals preview. That's our
Maybe
finals
a little
review.
bit shorter this week, but there's less games. There's only 6 teams left.
But
There we
that'll do
go.
us, baby.
See you next week.
You up the wires.
Cheer-hoo.